the effects of the dua. And on the first slide, which is now you are watching, we said that some say that dua only have a psychological consequence, and some say it has a spiritual upliftment, and the others believe that it's conducive to results. That means it can bring about existential issues. And as we discussed, we said that all of the above are correct, but the most important aspect of dua is that existential aspect of it, when it is conducive to result, bringing about certain things which are desired by the da'i. And then we talked about the importance of dua, and we saw those narrations about it. And also we talked about the advice of Imam Ali alayhi salam to his son regarding the dua. And it is like if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who is the owner of the all treasures of this world, has given you the key to his treasures to tap into by your dua, as we discussed it. And then certain things to make dua more effective. We talked about the presence of the heart, and we talked about purity of the heart, purity of earnings, which was very important, showing faith in action. Then of course we stopped here, and that is an explanation of Imam Ali alayhi salam about why sometimes dua doesn't actually hit the target and is not fulfilled. Now, as I said, these conditions are explained more eloquently and in more details in a hadith from Imam Ali alayhi salam. قام رجل إلى أمير المؤمنين عليه السلام فقال نسألك عن قول الله تعالى ادعوني أستجب لكم فما بالنا ندعو فلا نجاب. So a man went to Imam Ali alayhi salam, or while the Imam was talking, someone actually stood up and said, I want to ask you about this verse, Ud'uni astajib lakum. This is a promise from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Call me, I will respond. So why is it that we call Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and we do not see any response? We do not receive istajaba. So is this not actually backing down on the promise that Allah has made in the Quran? Imam Ali alayhi salam said, لَأَنَّ قُلُوبَكُمْ خَانَتْ بِثَمَانِ خِصَالٍ, because your hearts had betrayed by 8 different attributes, or by 8 in 8 different ways. And if you betray, you do not fulfill what Allah has asked you, then Allah will not fulfill His promise. It is not that He is not fulfilling it. This istijaba is actually conditioned and is conditional to these sort of things that you have to do. And if you don't do, it means that you have betrayed. And you remember we said the ayah addressing Banu Israel, وَأَوْفُوا بِعَهْدِي أُوفِ بِعَهْدِكُمْ وَإِيَّايَ فَارْهَبُونَ. You fulfill your promise, I fulfill my promise. So it's conditional on that. Now, what are those 8 things that Imam says that you have betrayed? And if you betray, then dua is not fulfilled. And this actually, by the converse argument, would tell us that the A'imma, the Prophets, the Awliya Allah, when they make a dua, we know that they are mustajabud da'wah. Their dua actually is responded immediately. It's because they have fulfilled these things. Anyone fulfilling these qualities, then of course the dua will be responded without doubt. أولها, the first thing that you have done is إنكم عرفتم الله فلم تؤدوا حقه كما أوجب عليكم فما أغنت عنكم معرفتكم شيئا. You have known Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You know His qualities, His grandeur, His glory, and you know the right that He has upon you, but you do not fulfill that right. as He has actually made it obligatory on you. So your ma'rifah of Allah has not availed you in any way. Of course, you have to know this is addressed to specific people. This is not addressed to all the mu'minun. It's addressed to those people who were claiming that they have full faith when they talked, but in action they were very different. Just like what the Quran says, and it said that it is revealed about Akhnas ibn Shariq, who was a very eloquent man. When he talked about faith, about heart, about God, the Prophet just liked to listen. And that is why the Quran says, when they talk, وَمِنَ النَّاسِ مَنْ يُعْجِبُكَ قَوْلُهُ فِي الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا وَيُشْهِدُ اللَّهَ عَلَى مَا فِي قَلْبِهِ. There are some people, like this Akhras ibn Shariq, that when he talks, you're amazed. You just want to listen so nicely speak about these things. And then he brings Allah as a witness to what is in his heart. But of course in action, وَإِذَا تَوَلَّى سَعَى فِي الْأَرْضِ وَيُهْلِكَ الْحَرْثَ وَالنَّسْلَ. When they go away, they act very differently. They kill people, they kill livestock, they destroy the produce of people. So these are the type of people. So you should not take these upon yourself, certainly. But anyone who is actually categorized in these categories should not expect that their dua be responded quickly and as they desire. والثانية, the second is إنكم آمنتم برسوله ثم خالفتم سنته وأمتم شريعته فأين ثمرة إيمانكم. You have believed in Rasulullah, then your act is in disagreement of his sunnah. You have actually made his sharia to die. You have killed his sharia by your actions. Where is the fruit of your iman? والثالثة, the third thing, إنكم قرأتم كتابه المنزل عليكم فلم تعملوا به وقلتم سمعنا وأطعنا ثم خالفتم. You read the Kitabullah and then you don't act accordingly. And you say we hear and we follow and we obey, and then you do not obey, you do not follow. This is the third thing. والرابع, of course, about reading the book, there are lots of discussion here that how we have to follow the book, who's best qualified to tell us what is written in the book. These are things that we have to ponder upon. Certainly not anyone coming and reading the book and saying that, okay, this is what I understand, I want to follow. That is not an informed understanding. We have to follow the informed understanding of the Quran. We have to follow those who have piety and knowledge, and we really want to know what they understand from the book. And everyone should read the book, but should not just rely on their own understandings, because this would mean arrogance if someone relied only on their own understanding. والرابعة إنكم قلتم إنكم تخافون من النار. You said that you are fearing the fire. You say this, but are your actions confirming what you say? Do your actions testify to what you claim? وإنكم وأنتم في كل وقت تقدمون أجسامكم إليها بمعاصيكم فأين خوفكم. As I said, I know you are very good people, very pious people. Don't take these to yourself, but any one of us who think that these qualities in some way or in one way or another could be found in them, they have to try to eradicate it from themselves. And every time you expose your bodies to the fire of the hell by your disobedience, where is that fear that you say we fear the punishment and fire on the day of judgment? The fifth thing is إنكم قلتم إنكم ترغبون في الجنة. You say that you desire paradise. You say that you are very much willing to go to paradise. وأنتم في كل وقت تفعلون ما يبعدكم منها فأين رغبتكم فيها. And every moment, every day, you do something which takes you farther away from paradise. So where is that desire for paradise that you talk about? والسادسة إنكم أكلتم نعمة المولى ولم تشكروا عليها. You eat the bounties of your Lord, your Master, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and you don't give enough thanks. والسابعة, seventh, إن الله أمركم بعداوة الشيطان. Allah has commanded you to be enemies of shaitan, and He has told you that إن الشيطان لكم عدو فاتخذوه عدوا. Shaitan is your enemy, so you take him as your enemy. فعاديتموه بلا قول ووليتموه بلا مخالفة. Then you say that you are opposing him, but there is nothing which appears on your tongue, and you follow him without any disagreement. This is the seventh. والثامنة, and this is the most important for barring the dua to be responded. إنكم جعلتم عيوب الناس نصب أعينكم وعيوبكم وراء ظهوركم تلومون من أنتم أحق باللوم. You have put the shortcomings, the mistakes, the sins of other people before your eyes. You see it very clearly, and then you criticize them for it. You talk about it in your majalis to other people, and your own sins, your own shortcomings is behind your back. It means you don't see them. And then you blame people that if you think deeply, you will see that you deserve blame more than them. And this is the eighth thing which would bar you from your du'as to be responded. فَأَيُّ دُعَاءٍ يُسْتَجَابُ لَكُمْ مَعَ هَذَا. So which dua you expect to be responded to you with all these? وَقَدْ سَدَّدْتُمْ أَبْوَابَهُ وَطُرُقَهُ. And you have closed all the doors and channels of response from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this is very interesting what the Imam says. You close the channels of the response. Not Allah. Allah wants to respond to you, but you have closed all the doors of that response coming down to you. And if you think deeply about this, this is actually the meaning of صدق. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وكونوا مع الصادقين. صادقين are the ones who, what they say, they do. What they do, they say. Not what they don't do. What they don't do, they don't say. And they don't say what they are not going to do. And if someone actually practices this continuously, then inshallah they would be written with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala min as-siddiqeen. And siddiqeen and siddiqat are those who have the highest rank in spirituality with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What Allah wants from us is truth, not claim. And if we claim these things while in our action not testify to what we say, our actions defy what we say, then of course Allah will judge us not by what we say and what we claim, but by what we do. So the Imam says at the end, فَاتَّقُوا اللَّهَ وَأَصْلِحُوا أَعْمَالَكُمْ. So fear God, do not accuse God of not responding. You correct your own actions. Instead of accusing Allah that He is not fulfilling His promise, you correct your own actions. وَأَخْلِصُوا سَرَائِرَكُمْ. Purify your inner soul, your inner being. وَأَمُرُوا بِالْمَعْرُوفِ وَانْهَوْا عَنِ الْمُنْكَرِ. Advise to good and encourage the good and discourage the munkar. فَيَسْتَجِيبُ اللَّهُ لَكُمْ دُعَاءَكُمْ. If you do this, then Allah will respond to your dua. As I said, when we say that some people are mustajab al-da'wah, or their dua never actually misses the target. Like we know that if Imam makes a dua for someone, for example, that dua will certainly be fulfilled. If the Prophet makes dua about someone, that dua will certainly be fulfilled. Maybe not in the time that we see, but in a frame of time that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has destined. And this is because Allah fulfills His promise on the condition that we also act in a way that we are commanded to do. Okay. Now, there are other topics in this field that I want to explore a little bit with you. Du'as which are never rejected, or dua of the people who is never rejected. And Abi Abdullah alayhi salam, from Imam As-Sadiq alayhi salam, قال أربعة لا ترد لهم دعوة. There are 4 group of people who are never denied istijaba from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. No dua of them are rejected. 1, al-imam al-adilu li ra'iyatih. And a leader who is just towards the people who's leading. Now, this Imam al-Adil, the first thing is, of course, the head of a country, the head of a nation. If this Imam is Adil, Allah knows, first of all, what reward would give to him. We have a hadith reported from the Prophet that 1 hour of leading justly over the nation is better than 60 years of ibadah. And therefore, it's very important. And helping a just leader as well is very advisable and very rewarding. Allah would reward anyone who helps a just leader. We shouldn't just say that, okay, these are worldly things, we don't want to involve ourselves in politics, we don't want to involve ourselves backing some against others. If we realize that an imam is adil, it is our responsibility to back them, to support them, to have good wishes for them and show that good wishes in our actions. Now, this is in a very broad and general term, the head of a country, head of a nation. What about head of a community? Yes, of course, if head of a community is as well adil, in a smaller scale, then that would be something which Allah would reward very much. And I guess this criterion that Imam has set here would be fulfilled for them as well. Leader of a community, the president of a mosque, for example, if they are adil, if they are just, if they act really sincerely for Allah and they are just towards the community who have chosen them, inshallah, Allah would respond to their du'as as well. It is easy to always sit at home or in the mosque, recite the Quran or do salat and think of the reward. It is more difficult to be involved in material things, in daily and profane actions and reactions of the people and remain with God. That is more difficult. And that's why Allah mentions here, Al-Imam al-Adil li-Rayyatih, their dua is not rejected. Wal-Akh لأخيه بظهر الغيب يوكل الله به ملكا يقول له ولك مثل ما دعوت لأخيك. Someone who makes dua for the other person in his absence or in her absence. بظهر الغيب means when they are not present. You don't want to show them that you are praying for them or anything. And that's why we are told in Salatul Layl, for example, it is good to do dua for 40 mu'minun, or whatever number we can. Whoever comes to our mind, or we make a list for that. And it really comes from our heart. We really wish well for them. And if we really wish well for them and ask Allah for that, first of all, Allah responds that for the other person. Because if we call Allah, we may not have fulfilled those qualities. We may have sins. There is a story there is a poem in Rumi's Mathnawi, which is taken from a hadith that Allah says to Musa, Musa, call me with a tongue with which you have not sinned. And Musa says, Ya Allah, I don't have that tongue. Where should I bring such a tongue? He said, call me with the tongue of someone else, because that someone else hasn't committed your sins. And when they call for you, then that will be responded more quickly. And all this tells us about the mechanism of this dua, how dua works. There is a mechanism for it. It's not just the case that Allah precariously wills to respond to this and not respond to that. There is a mechanism which brings things about or bars them, blocks the channels, and all these things. So if you really wish well for your brethren in faith, or the members of your family, anyone, and ask Allah. First of all, Allah would respond in the right of those people, and then Allah will appoint an angel who says, وَلَكَ مِثْلُ مَا دَعَوْتَ لَأَخِيكَ, and for you is like what you have asked for your brethren in faith. Not only they get it, you get it as well. You ask for their forgiveness, Allah forgives you. You ask for their progress, promotion, sa'ada, Allah gives it to you as well. And again, look at how the hadith is teaching us about this mechanism. يُوَكِّلُ بِهِ مَلَكًا. Allah will appoint an angel. Again, there's a mechanism. An angel should come. That angel should actually take your dua and make it in your right as well. And all these things that we can understand from narrations like this. وَالْوَالِدُ لِوَلَدِهِ, and the father for their children. A father, when they call for their children, it will be responded. Why a father, not a mother? Well, first of all, mothers, when they call, of course, they are so much attached to their children that naturally they would call. And the response to call of mothers is obvious, because especially if someone is good to their mothers and mothers make dua for them, that is obvious. But the father calling for their children is less sort of obvious, and it happens less than mothers, because the fathers are not that compassionately attached to the children. Not that they don't love them, but it's not the nature of men to do such things or to be like that. So much attached, so much affection, so much compassion. And therefore, maybe I understand this. Of course, people are different. Maybe I understand this. It is as big because of that which the Imam mentions the dua of a father for their children. Wal mazlum. Wow, this is the most terrifying thing. If someone is wronged and calls Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Imam Ali alayhi salam said, when he was asked, what is the distance between the heavens and the earth? And by heaven he means the higher realm, not of course the skies. And he said, Da'watul mazlum, the dua of mazlum, that's the distance. Because the dua of mazlum reaches that higher realm. يقول الرب وعزتي وجلالي لأنتقمن لك ولو بعد حين. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that I swear by my glory and my magnificence that I will take revenge for you, even if it takes some time. It is very, very important that we do not wrong anyone, especially those who cannot defend themselves. Because those who can defend themselves, Allah says, okay, let them fight. But someone who cannot defend themselves, cannot take a lawyer, cannot fight back because I'm very rich, I'm very powerful, this man is just a downtrodden person, one of my employees who cannot do anything, doesn't have the language to defend himself, doesn't have the means to go and take a lawsuit against me? If this is the case, once Imam Zainul Abidin alayhi salam was asked that, tell us a hadith from your father, and he said, my father advised me, Ya bunayya iyaka wa dhulma man la tajidu alayka nasiran illa Allah. I advise you, do not wrong anyone who has no helper except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Of course, we shouldn't wrong anyone, but someone who has no helper except Allah, Allah says, وَعِزَّتِي وَجَلَالِي لَأَنْتَقِمَنَّ لَكَ, I will take revenge, and if it takes time, don't worry. There is no missing. I will not miss that. So these are the 4 type of people that Imam says their dua is never rejected. And best times for dua, Kulaini reports from Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq, قال أمير المؤمنين عليه السلام, Imam Sadiq reports from Imam Ali alayhi salam, يغتنم الدعاء عند 4. You have to take the opportunity of dua on these 4 moments. عند قراءة القرآن, when you recite the Quran, or you hear people reciting the Quran, and your heart is affected by it. You know, sometimes we recite the Quran, or we hear the Quran, our heart has a trembling, become harsher. At that moment, take the opportunity, because that is where you are close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and ask dua. وَعِنْدَ الْأَذَانِ, when the adhan is said, that is another time. وَعِنْدَ نُزُولِ الْغَيْثِ, when the rain is falling, because this is when Allah opens the doors of the mercy, and then when you make a dua, the mercy includes that as well. وَعِنْدَ الْتِقَاءِ الصَّفَّيْنِ لِلشَّهَادَةِ, and when the 2 lines of soldiers meet in jihad for shahada, where of course the Muslims fight for shahada, for martyrdom. At that moment the dua is responded. The criterion that we get from all these and many other narrations, like for example before dawn, after salat, is when our hearts are closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when our hearts are more humbled by remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that is when the dua will be effective. And another way of looking at the slowness of the answer, because this is what most of us have experienced, are worried about, why there's a slowness in the answer of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, why He doesn't respond quickly, until when we have to call and He would not actually fulfill what we want. Now, Al-Bazanti, who was one of the most sincere companions of Imam Raza alayhi salam, says that I said to Imam Raza alayhi salam, جعلت فداك إني قد سألت الله تبارك وتعالى حاجة منذ كذا وكذا سنة. I have asked Allah for one haja since such and such years, so many years. وقد دخل قلبي من إبطائها شيء. Now something has entered my heart of this slowness. Is really Allah listening at all? Is He fulfilling His promise that He says, "Ud'uni astajib lakum"? Or I'm just a reject person? فقال لي أخبرني عنك. Imam alayhi salam said, tell me, لو أني قلت قولا كنت تثق به مني, if I say you something, if I promise you something, do you trust me? قلت جعلت فداك وإذا لم أثق بقولك فبمن أثق. I said, may I be honest, if I do not trust you, so whom should I trust? قال فكن بالله أوثق. He said, so it's actually a reminder. You trust me and you do not trust Allah. You have to have more trust in Allah than on me. فإنك على موعد من الله. There is a time, there is an appointed time for this. You cannot bring it forward if this is the wisdom of Allah. If the wisdom of Allah has appointed that time for you, you cannot bring it forward. But do not lose trust in Him. He will do it. أليس الله تبارك وتعالى يقول وإذا سألك عبادي عني فإني قريب. And Imam recites this verse for him. So sometimes, as I said before, things are destined in a time, in an appointed time, and bring it forward would harm, would damage rather than benefit. And therefore we should not insist for things that are delayed to be brought forward for us. Now, dua and trials. When we are in trials, when we are tried by different calamities, different undesirable discomfort, what would our dua bring about in that situation? What is the effect of the dua in a situation that we have called Allah, but we see that we are still in calamity, in trouble? Al-Imam Sadiq alayhi salam said to his followers, لأصحابه, هل تعرفون طول البلاء من قصره? Do you know what's the difference of the longevity of calamity from its shortness? Sometimes the calamities are prolonged. A war is prolonged for a long time. Poverty, for example, ill health, they are prolonged. And sometimes they are short. قلنا لا قال إذا ألهم أحدكم الدعاء عند البلاء فاعلموا أن البلاء قصير. He said that when a dua is inspired to you, when there is a calamity, a trial, you should know that this trial is going to end soon. And this is a very important concept. إذا ألهم أحدكم الدعاء. You know, sometimes Allah inspires us with some du'as. It didn't strike our minds that we have to make such a dua before. Or naturally, when we look at ourselves, we were not such a person to make this dua. But suddenly it comes to our mind that let me call Allah like this, with these words. Or let me ask for such and such things. This is the inspiration of Allah. And when this inspiration comes, you should know that Allah is going to give you what you want because He has inspired you with dua. Remember, we said last week about Nuh alayhi salam. Allah told him that وَقُلْ رَبِّ أَنزِلْنِي مُنزَلًا مُبَارَكًا. Allah taught him, say, Nuh, tell this, say this. Tell this to me, that bring me down in a blessed land. Now, because Allah can talk to Nuh alayhi salam, of course, He tells him. What about us? Does He tell us ever that we make such and such dua? Yes, He inspires us with that dua. Sometimes Allah inspires us with a good action that it didn't strike our mind before. For example, suddenly we think that, oh, it's very good that, for example, I slaughter a sheep every month and give it to the poor people. It just strikes our mind, and then we do it. It means Allah wants to reward us for that. He inspires us with such things. وَأَلْهَمْنَ التَّقْوَى. Inspire me with an act of taqwa. And this is one of the greatest blessings of Allah on a person, to inspire them. And we have that when Allah wants to forgive someone at the end of their life, He inspires them with a good act, which would actually recover for all their life, whatever they did during their lives. Inshallah, Allah would end our life in that way. Anyhow, إِذَا أُلْهِمَ أَحَدُكُمْ الدُّعَاء عِنْدَ الْبَلَاءِ فَاعْلَمُوا أَنَّ الْبَلَاءَ قَصِيرٌ. If you are inspired with the dua, when there is a trial, then you should know that Allah is shortening that trial by your dua. Al-Imam Sadiq alayhi salam said, "Man taqaddama fi ad-du'a ustujiba lahu idha nazala bihi al-bala." Someone who asks afiyah from Allah before any calamity, before any misfortune, is always asking Allah for afiyah, for good life. His heart is connected to Allah. But of course, This world cannot be without trials and misfortunes. We are here actually to be tested by these trials. But Allah says that when the calamity comes down as it is destined for them, then that is shortened for them. قالت الملائكة, the angels say, صوت معروف لم يحجب عن السماء. The angels say, well, this sound is familiar, you know. Before the trial, we were always making dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We didn't know that a trial is coming down, but because we are connected to Allah, we ask Allah all the time. The angels hear our voice. And when the bala comes and we ask for its removal, the angels say, wow, this is a familiar voice. We used to hear this voice. Lam yahjab an as-sama. This voice was not blocked from heavens. The voice used to come up. وَمَنْ لَمْ يَتَقَدَّمْ فِي الدُّعَاء لَمْ يُسْتَجَبْ لَهُ إِذَا نَزَلَ بِهِ الْبَلَاء. So this person, when the bala comes down and asks for the removal, it is responded because the voice is familiar in the higher realm. وَمَنْ لَمْ يَتَقَدَّمْ فِي الدُّعَاء, someone who hasn't been doing dua before, لَمْ يُسْتَجَبْ لَهُ إِذَا نَزَلَ بِهِ الْبَلَاء. When the bala comes, the response for his dua or her dua is not coming. وَقَالَتِ الْمَلَائِكَةِ إِنَّ ذَا الصَّوْتِ لَا نَعْرِفُهُ. The angels say, we don't recognize this sound, this voice. Whose voice is this? We never heard him or her calling Allah before. Now that the bala has come, they are calling. So that is why in comfort, in ease, and in discomfort, in unfortunate times, we have to always call upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now, one very important discussion here is dua and destiny. Okay, if things are destined for us, what would be the use of our dua? For example, if we say that the matters of every year that we have to meet every year is destined on Laylatul Qadr, then what's the use of dua? Well, of course, on Laylatul Qadr, it's very important that we make dua because destiny hasn't been made for that year yet. And when we say it has been made, again, we shouldn't bring Allah in time. It means it is not revealed to the angels yet to carry it out. And when destiny is made, it means that it's revealed to the angels to carry it out. And for the year, they know, they read from that book that this is what we have to do for this year. It's just like an employer says to the employee that this month, these are your tasks that you have to complete. And the angels on Laylatul Qadr, Allah reveals to them that this is what you have to do for the next year about these people. So when we say destiny is made for 1 year, it doesn't mean that Allah doesn't know what's going to happen in the following years. Take Allah outside time. It's very difficult, it's very complicated, but that's this. Allah is outside the time, so He's not affected by past, present, future, making day by day destiny decision. However, again, He is completely aware of time. He directly acts in time, and this sort of contradiction is something that our mind cannot solve. هو الأول والآخر والظاهر والباطن. These paradoxes is always there about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala because He is outside time, and our minds cannot actually solve this. Anyhow, let's come to more tangible things, our dua and destiny. Don't think about that qada and qadar of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because Amir al-Mu'minin said, Bahrun amigun fala talir. This is deep waters. Do not plunge into it, because if you plunge, you are drawn. So do not think about this. Just accept what Allah says, that He is aware of every moment. He decides for every moment, and still He's outside the time. Anyhow, Al-Kafi reports a hadith, Kulayni rahmatullah alayh, from Umar ibn Yazid, from Imam al-Rida alayhi salam. يقول إن الدعاء يرد ما قد قدر وما لم يقدر. Dua blocks or redirects what is destined and what is not destined. And this is very interesting. Dua actually changes what is destined and what is not destined. I said, قلت وما قد قدر عرفته فما لم يقدر. Okay, I know something which is destined for me, for example, is destined that I have to die in such a year, or I have to be afflicted by such an illness or whatever, which Allah knows best for us. But when I make dua, that destiny is changed. That destiny is changed. As Imam Zain al-Abidin says that, oh, the one who changes his confirmed destiny with the slightest of du'as. That is how dua affects, as I said, it has an existential consequence in this world. So he says, I understand what is destined, it changes it. What about ma lam yuqaddar? What is not destined? What do you mean? قال حتى لا يكون, so that it's not destined. Because Allah may destine something in next year for me, but my dua changes that as well. That's why al-dua mukhul ibadah, the core of worship is dua. It is your connection with Allah. It is your key to the treasures of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It is your key to the destiny, to that book of destiny. You can go to that book of destiny, rewrite it by dua. I mean, what Amirul Mu'minin alayhi salam said to his son was that Allah has the treasures of the heavens and the earth, everything is, and has given you the keys. Come, open the door, whatever you want, take by dua. Now, Imam Sadiq is not, Imam Reza alayhi salam is now opening another door for dua. There's a book of destiny that Allah actually has written everything in it. Of course, not like a book that we know. It's all the metaphorical way. For example, the book of our body development is our DNA. That's a book. That's what we mean by a book, for example. The book of the development of the universe is something which is somehow like a DNA of human being, which determines how it should develop. Now, the book of destiny. Allah has given you a key, that's dua. You go to the book of destiny with a rubber. You rub whatever you don't like, and you write whatever you write in your destiny. Fascinating, isn't it? By dua, you do this. Wama, it says that, and of course, there are things that aren't written. You do not see it there. But by dua, you would actually object or block them to coming into your book in future. Another hadith from Al-Kafi, Al-Imam Al-Baghr alayhi salam said to Zurara, ألا أدلك على شيء لم يستثن فيه رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. قلت بلى. قال الدعاء يرد القضاء وقد أبرم إبراما وظن أصابعه. And then he sticked his fingers together. He said that, should I not guide you to something that Prophet made no exception in it? No exception. He didn't say inshallah. He said it happens. It happens. I said yes. He said ad-du'a. Dua yaruddu al-qada وَقَدْ أُبْرَمَ إِبْرَامًا. The ruling of Allah, the qada of Allah, it is written, it is confirmed Ubrama Ibraman, that it must happen, and by dua you stop it to happen. Now, how does this work? Of course, there are levels of decision manifestation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There is one level for Allah that no one knows about it. And in there is nothing would change, because in that book even your du'as are written, what your du'as have changed are written, everything is written there. That is the Allahul Mahfuz. But what the angels can know, what even some human beings like Aimma and prophets can know, sometimes is revealed to them, is just knowing that about that book in which changes happen. And in that book, things are sometimes conditional, sometimes confirmed unconditionally. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that in that book, if something is confirmed unconditionally, you can actually change it by your dua. There's another hadith in Al-Kafi from Imam Al-Kazim alayhi salam, عليكم بالدعاء فإن الدعاء لله والطلب إلى الله يرد البلاء وقد قدر وقضى ولم يبق إلا إمضاؤه. I advise you to dua, because dua is for Allah, and talab, the request is from Allah in your dua. فَإِنَّ الدُّعَاءَ لِلَّهِ وَالطَّلَبُ إِلَى اللَّهِ, this dua that you make to Allah and this request that you make from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, يَرُدُّ الْبَلَاءَ, it would redirect, it would obstruct the bala. It doesn't come. While وَقَدْ قُدِّرَ, it has been destined. You have to be inflicted by that. وَقُضِيَ, and it has been confirmed. Qada means a ruling which has been actually passed already. وَلَمْ يَبْقَ إِلَّا إِمْضَاؤُهُ, it just needs a signature of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I'll talk about this shortly. What are the layers and levels of this decision making, because that is something very interesting about Laylatul Qadr as well, that we know something which is destined for us on Laylatul Qadr can be changed later on. It can be changed before, in the sense that we can actually determine what should be written for us by our dua and by our actions, and also after it is written it can be changed. When I'm talking about that, I'll talk about this qadar and qada and imza. فإذا دعي الله عز وجل وسئل صرف البلاء صرفة, if someone asks Allah Azza wa Jal then and requests him, then Allah will turn away the bala from them. After it is destined, after it is confirmed, Allah will turn it away from them. And this is in another way, if we think about it. It's, for example, we do a bad act, we do an evil act, we, for example, wrong someone. Then something bad is destined for us because of that action, consequence of it. And then we do something good afterwards. We do istighfar, we give charity or anything, and that evil is turned away from us. إِنَّ الْحَسَنَاتِ يُذْهِبْنَ السَّيِّئَاتِ, hasanat would remove the sayyi'at, ذَلِكَ ذِكْرَى لِلذَّاكِرِينَ. This is a reminder for you, if you have done something wrong, and who's amongst us who hasn't done things wrong. And therefore, what is important is that we always turn away the consequences of these evil acts by doing good things and by obstructing these evil consequences to come to us. Again, from Imam Al-Kazim alayhi salam, ادعوا الله عز وجل ولا تقل إن الأمر قد فرغ منه. Ask Allah and don't say that, well, the destiny is already decided. This is what some people say. Well, if Allah has destined everything, what's the use of my dua? Call Allah and don't say that the matter is already decided upon. قال زرارة إنما يعني لا يمنعك إيمانك بالقضاء والقدر أن تبالغ بالدعاء وتجتهد فيه. Now, after actually this hadith is reported, Zurara say what Imam means by that is that your iman to qada and qadar, to destiny, to the power of Allah, that He is the decision maker, should not stop you from practicing dua continuously, excessively practicing in dua, تبالغ بالدعاء وتجتهد فيه. Now, that is the end of what I wanted to say about the dua. And now I want to, this is an appendix on destiny, because we have to, in a way, understand how this matter of destiny works. Is confusing for many of us, how we can relate the destiny and dua to each other. Now, the destiny is made not, of course, in a single layer decision making. There's a multi-layer of decision making. There is one hadith from Ibn Abi Umayr rahmatullah alayhi from Imam al-Hasan alayhi salam. قال أبو الحسن إمام الرضا عليه السلام قال أبو الحسن لا يكون إلا ما شاء الله وأراد وقدر وقضى. Nothing will be except what Allah wills, what Allah intends, destines, and rules. Now, these are four different levels of decision making. Allah may want something but doesn't intend to bring it about. May intend something but doesn't destine it. May destine something but doesn't rule that it must happen. Let me give you an example from our own human world. For example, you want to go to ziyarah. This is a will. But as long as you don't intend, you wouldn't fulfill your will, certainly. When you intend, okay, I wish to go to ziyarah, then now I want to go this year. You intend now. Then you have to, of course, prepare. You have to measure how much you have to spend, whether you have it or not. You have to, of course, look to find a group to go with, or if you want to go alone, what time, what date I want to go, what ticket. And then after you have made all these things, then you actually confirm that, yes, I'm going now. And after this confirmation, there's another thing that I will talk about later on. So, with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, of course, these are all metaphorical, because for Allah, these things are not like that as we understand. But the Imam is giving us something, an example from our own human understanding. So, there is a mashiyah, will, then there is an irada, intention, then there is a taqdeer, measurement, and then there is a qaza, ruling. ثم قال, okay, let's explain all these things. ثم قال أتدري ما المشيئة? Do you know what is مشيئة, the will? فقال لا. He said, I don't know. فقال حمه بالشيء. When he actually wants something to happen. أو تدري ما الإرادة? Do you know what is intention? I said, no. He said, إتمامه على المشيئة. Completion of that will by intention, by intending to do it. فقال أو تدري ما قدر? Do you know what is قدر? That's measurement, تقدير. قال لا. قال هو الهندسة من الطول والأرض والبقاء. This is actually the management of things. What time it should happen, what place, for what people, as the Imam says, is length and width and continuity, the time and the different dimensions of that thing should be actually measured by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's taqdeer. This is what we call taqdeer, destiny. ثم قال إن الله إذا شاء شيئا أراده. When he wants something to happen, he intends it. وإذا أراد قدره. And when he intends it, he destines it. وإذا قدره قضاه. And when he intends it, when he measures it, he rules that it should happen. And إذا قضاه أمضاه. When he makes that ruling, then it means a final signature. Go ahead, a final go ahead to the angels actually. That is the final thing. Now, what would happen on Laylatul Qadr? You tell me. Which one of these is actually made on Laylatul Qadr, which then can be changed by Allah? Let's see the next hadith, في Tawheed. This is from Tawheed of Saduq. This Tawheed of Saduq is one of the most excellent books. He has collected a hadith about Tawheed, about the attributes of God, about Qadar, Qadar, all these things, in a way that when you read it, you realize what is the difference of knowledge of Ahlul Bayt and other people. And fortunately, it has been translated into English. Of course, it's something that needs to be run by a teacher, because many of these narrations are so deep, so complicated, that it really needs someone who has grasped the deep meanings of these concepts given to us by Aimah alayhi salam, which is a blessing for the Shia. So, so here Saduq reports from Kulayni rahmatullah alayhi, from Mu'alla ibn Khunais, who was one of the closest companions of Imam Sadiq alayhi salam, and used to serve him, and he was, because he was a Shia, he was hanged by the ruler of Medina. قال سئل العالم عليه السلام كيف علم الله. He was asked about knowledge of Allah. What is the knowledge of Allah? قال علم وشاء وأراد وقدر وقضى وأمضى. First of all, of course, he knows everything. Then he wills something to happen. Then he intends it. Then he measures it. Then he rules that it happens. Then he signs it. فَأَمْضَى مَا قَضَى. He signs whatever he has ruled. وَقَضَى مَا قَدَّرَ. He rules whatever he has measured. وَقَدَّرَ مَا أَرَادَ. He measures whatever he has intended. فَبِعِلْمِهِ كَانَتِ الْمَشِيَّةِ. Again, Imam explains it from the other way. So you see, he explains from two sides. فَبِعِلْمِهِ كَانَتِ الْمَشِيَّةِ. The Mashiyah comes from his knowledge. بِمَشِيَّتِهِ كَانَتِ الْإِرَادَةِ. The irada and will comes from his, the intention comes from his will. وَبِإِرَادَتِهِ كَانَ التَّقْدِيرِ. Taqdeer comes from his intention, and بِتَقْدِيرِهِ كَانَ الْقَضَاءِ. وَبِقَضَائِهِ كَانَ الْإِمْضَاءِ. Signature comes from his ruling. Now, so it's very interesting. Imam is actually explained this several times so that we understand, and people at that time, it was very confusing for them. And if you see the discussions of Ash'aris and Mu'tazilis later on, and at the time of the Imam, the discussions of people who were later on called Hanbalis and the Mu'tazilis, who were actually very rational, you understand why Imam is explaining this so much, because this was a confusing issue, confusing matter at the time of Imam alayhi salam. فَالْعِلْمُ مُتَقَدِّمٌ عَلَى الْمَشِيَّةِ. Ilm is before Mashiyah. Mashiyah is the second. وَالْإِرَادَةِ ثالثة. Irada is third. وَالتَّقْدِيرُ وَاقِعٌ عَلَى الْقَضَاءِ بِالْإِمْضَاءِ. So, taqdeer will happen after qada and imza. فَلِلَّهِ تَبَارَكَ وَتَعَالَى الْبَدَاءُ فِيمَا عَلِمَ مَتَى شَاءَ وفيما أراد لتقدير الأشياء فإذا أراد وقع القضاء بالإمضاء فلا بداء. Now, bada is change, isn't it? Changing things. As long as this imza has not happened, Allah may change things. And this is where the dua comes. When imza, this signature comes and the angels are commanded to do it, then there's no change. But before that, as long as the ruling is not signed for implementation, Allah changes very much. This is like when Ibrahim alayhi salam asked, Ibrahim was someone who Allah never rejected his dua. And when these angels went to punish Lut, he started to make dua for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and said to the angels, give them some more time. Maybe they come to their minds, and they said, Ya Ibrahim, a'rid an hadha. Ibrahim, do not insist. Leave this matter. إِنَّهُ قَدْ جَاءَ أَمْرُ رَبِّكَ. The command has come. The signature is made. There is no change for it, because after the signature is made, then no one can change what Allah has destined. Before that, however, and this is where the changes come with dua. Before that, whatever is destined on Laylatul Qadr is qaza. There is no imza yet. Imza happens as the year goes on. And that is how this destiny can change by our dua. And it is very important that we always make dua so that before things are signed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala coming to us. And sometimes nothing is destined for us. And by dua, Allah makes it destiny for us. Good things which are not destined for us, by dua, Allah will make it a destiny for us. It is, as Imam Ali says, a key to Allah's treasures. It is a treasure. It is something that Allah has given to us, which is above every other blessing of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And one may wonder why Allah has honored human beings with such a blessing, that He has given the keys of His treasures to us. He has given us access to the book of our destiny, to change things in that book, to write things, to erase things. And this is one of the amazing features of the blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now, just to finish off, what sorts of things we have to demand from Allah? Diversity of demands in dua. I have taken some excerpts from the dua of Abu Hamza as-Somali. And in this dua you see, sometimes Imam is asking very highly spiritual matters, which even our hearts, our mind cannot actually grasp. And sometimes comes to the earth and asks for very insignificant material things. And this is what we discussed last week, that the one who gives the small things gives the big things. The one who gives the big thing gives the big thing, gives the small things. So ask whatever comes to your heart. Sometimes, as I said, Allah inspires your heart to ask for wealth because He wants to give it to you. To ask for health because He wants to give it to you. Or to ask for spiritual things because He wants to give it to you. So it doesn't matter. Anything comes to your heart, ask from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Sometimes it's not inspiration, it's just desire. But what if it's inspiration from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and Allah wants to fulfill that? Now, look at this. One sentence I've chosen from highly spiritual matters and one from highly material and worldly matters. Allahumma inni as'aluka an tamla'a qalbi hubban lak. Oh my Lord, I ask you to fill my heart with your love. And this is highly spiritual, of course. Love is not something that Allah gives to every human being. Unless you know Allah, you cannot have His love. We have faith in God, of course. Faith is different from love. Love only and only happens when you know the beloved. But faith, no. Of course, we believe that He's there, He is so powerful, He's so merciful, and whatever, we have faith in Him. But when Allah wants to fill the heart of a person with His own love, it means He gives them His ma'rifah. And khashyatan. Khashya is different from khawf. Khawf is when you are fearing and expected undesirable things. And this is why we have hope from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that if we do some evil, that source of purity would remove that evil, and with that evil would remove us as well. Allah would remove evil in one way or another, and if we are attached to evil, it removes us as well. This khawf, khashya, is different. Khashya is an experience of the glory of Allah in the hearts. Khashya is when Allah's awesomeness comes to your heart. This is what Imam wants. First of all, I want love, then I want khashya. Then I want وَتَصْدِيقًا بِكِتَابِكَ, that my heart confirms what you have revealed in your book. I tell you, take this from me, majority of us do not confirm what is written in the book. We read it, we believe in it, but if we go deep into it, some of it, our hearts will not conform. Our human arrogance will not allow us to confirm it. Our human values, which is sometimes against the values of God, will not allow us to confirm. If Allah gives us a heart which can actually confirm what is in the book, resonates, this resonance with the book is very important. And those of you who are well versed in reciting the Quran with its meaning know what I say, that sometimes our hearts would not resonate with the book. This is what Imam wants, resonance with the book. إني أسألك أن تملأ قلبي حبا لك وخشية منك وتصديقا بكتابك وإيمانا بك. And this, of course, when someone loves Allah, certainly he has faith. And this iman is different from faith that we are talking. I have faith in whatever you do. I trust you in whatever you do. You see, in our own language as well, you say, for example, we say someone that you trust very much, you say, I have faith in him. This type of faith, I want that whatever you do in this world, I have faith in you, that you are right. I trust you. وَفَرَقًا mink, and a fright from you, وَشَوْقًا, longing. And this longing, of course, comes from is a consequence of that love, Ya Dhal Jalali wal Ikram. Then look how Imam now comes to the earth. He was in the heavens, asking for things which are absolutely heavenly, absolutely related to the heart. Then comes suddenly on the earth, Allahumma atina sa'ata fil rizq, give me abundance in rest and sustenance. You see, these two things, because of course as human beings we need sustenance. The Imam knows this. It's not only the matter of heart, it's not only the matter of faith. We need sustenance in life as well. It is a reality, we have to be real. So this is what he asked from Allah as well. Allahumma atina sa'ata fil rizq wal amna fil watan, security in my homeland. And this, unfortunately, what is reaped from many Muslims nowadays. In their homeland, they don't have security. They have to seek refuge in the lands of others who are quite precarious about their faith. Or you see what type of treatment nowadays West is making towards its refugees, because they don't have security in their homeland. وَقُرَّةَ الْعَيْنِ فِي الْأَهْلِ وَالْمَالِ وَالْوَلَدِ, and delight of the eye in family, in finance, and in offspring. In family, delight is that I have a good family, I trust them, I have comfort in them. In finance, of course, give me as much as I can live comfortably, I can help others, I can keep my dignity and honor. In children, give me children that I can actually be proud of them in their worldly and in their religious matters. These are the things, the delight of the eye in these things. وَالْمُقَامَ فِي نَعَمِكَ عِنْدِي, and I want that I stay in your blessings. Do not move away from it. Give me continuity in these bounties. وَالصِّحَّةَ فِي الْجِسْمِ, and give me health in my body. والقوة في البدن, and strength. Again, in my limbs, in my body, because health is different from strength. Health is when, of course, we are not ill. Sometimes we don't have strength enough to do certain ibadat, certain things. والسلامة في الدين, and safeguard in faith. Now, salama in jism is, of course, very clear, like sihat fil jism. What is salama fil deen in faith? That what I believe is correct, what I believe is not deviated, and then I think that they are correct. This afiyah that we ask for, deen and dunya wal akhirah. In afiyah in deen is that our faith is not deviated from what Allah actually has commanded. And sometimes many of us, of course, have problems in our tenets of faith, in our theology, in many other things related to faith. وَاسْتَعْمِلْنِي بِطَاعَتِكَ وَطَاعَةِ رَسُولِكَ مُحَمَّدٍ صلى الله عليه وآله أبدا ما استأمرتني. And of course, forever utilize me in your obedience and that of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, as long as I live. اللهم إني أسألك من الخير كله ما علمت منه وما لا أعلم. Again, this is one of the wonders of the dua of Imam Zain al-Abidin alayhi salam and the Prophet, peace be upon him, that he says, many things I know, many good I know, and I ask for it, but there are certain goods that I don't know at all. They exist, but I don't know about them at all. So I ask you about those things that I don't know, about things that I do not make dua for them, because it doesn't strike my mind at all. So give me that as well. I ask you all the good that I know and that I know of and that I not know. أسألك اللهم من خير ما سألك منه عبادك الصالحون. I ask you the best of those things that your salihun amongst the salihun among your servants asked you. And then again, from that high level of khair, Allahumma inni a'udhu bika min al-kasal wal-fashal wal-hamm wal-jubn wal-bukhl wal-ghaflat wal-qaswat wal-maskana wal-faqr wal-faqa wa kull baliyah wal-fawahish ma dhahara minha wa batan. I seek refuge with you from laziness, from failure, from misery, from misery, al-bukhl, from cowardliness. I'm sorry. From al-ham is misery. Misery in the sense that we sometimes have so much thought in our minds that we become miserable. This is the ham. Always so full of sorrow, full of despair. This is what brings misery. From jub, cowardliness. From bukhl, stinginess. From ghafla, negligence. From qaswa, cruelty. From maskana, humility. And from faqr, poverty. From faqa, indigence. And from every calamity and the exorbitant of sins, whether they are apparent or concealed. We pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that inshallah He fulfills our du'as and gives us tawfiq in these months of dua, Rajab, Sha'ban and Ramadan, to write the book of our destiny the way Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sees best for us and we desire to be good. Wa sallallahu ala Muhammadin wa alihi tahirin. Now the questions are, the floor is open to questions. If anyone has any question, please.